All right, perfect. Okay. My name is Jen. I'm a librarian in the Chelmsford Library, and I just wanted to give a quick intro to our panelist. Aidan Gillis is an officer with 9 years of service in the Chelmsford Police Department and currently holds the role of Community Engagement and Social Media Officer. Tonight, he'll be conducting a presentation on home security, emphasizing practical and cost-effective methods to ensure the safety and security of your residents. So he'll be giving his presentation, and then after we'll have some time for a question and answer. So take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, good evening, everyone. My introduction, Officer Aidan Gillis. I work at the Chelmsford Police Department. I've been here 9 years. I do all the social media. I do all the community engagement along with a few other, my Sergeant, Dan Gogan, and my Lieutenant, Jason Poor, a few others of us. So kind of it's all a team effort. Let me just make sure I have my chat up. So if you guys have any questions or anything, from the Berkshires, welcome. So yeah, I wasn't sure. It's the first time I've been doing a meeting like this. So, I wasn't sure who would be on or what to expect. So it's nice to have a lot of attendees. So welcome. I don't know. Let me just see if I can share my screen here. I wanted to, I have a handout that I had printed. I don't know if I can share it though. If not, I can share it at the end as well. And I can give you my email if you have any questions. So basically, it's just a few tips that I come up with through my own experience and, through the experience of, working on the road and everything. And I think it's home security is, it's a, it's something you want to protect. You want to, that's where you go home to relax and, you want to feel good there and feel secure. And especially if you go away to a lot of people, travel or are away for work, travel for work. So you want to make sure that if you feel secure when you're away. So basically, I'm able to share my screen at all. Awesome.
There you
Okay.
go. Perfect.
Can
Okay.
you see that?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, great. So yeah, so again, we're just just a few security tips here so we can go over those. So the first one, doors and windows. So make sure you should have closed and lock all your doors and windows at night or when you're away from home. Just something easy, especially if you're on the first floor of a residence. It's something that I've seen where people can, easily pop open a screen, slide open a window. So it's just something easy to do. The second one be alarms and cameras. So I know somebody already asked in the chat, can you recommend a secure security system? What I personally have at my house is Simply Safe. It's an alarm you set up yourself. You can purchase different sensors. So it's kind of like a build it yourself security system. I like it. I haven't had any issues with it. Today I'm working. I'm on a double today, so I'd be away from home for 16 hours. So it's just something nice. It has an app, so you can control it from your app. I get alerts and everything like that if something went off. So I like that system because you can use it through the app and everything like that. But there's so many systems out there. There's ones that are attached to Ring, Simply Safe. So there's a whole bunch of them. Definitely do your research and find out what works best for you. When I looked into Simply Safe, I liked some of the features it had, where you can, purchase additional sensors. You can purchase water sensors. So I have one down in my basement where the water heater is, and then I have one upstairs by where the washer and dryer are. So, if something ever was leaking and I was away, the sensor would trip. But there's so many different options out there. That's just what I personally use and I like. But again, the alarms and cameras, like I said, on my screen here, there's various options for do-it-yourself systems and home cameras to keep your property secure. So many times nowadays we'll use people's doorbell cameras when we're looking into an event or a situation to try to, maybe obtain an identity of somebody or a vehicle that was involved in a crime. So it's something we use a lot, and I think a lot of people have them. Again, it's something you can have on the outside of your house. If somebody's at your house or ringing your doorbell, you can kind of see who it is. Even if you're at home, you can, look at the camera before you answer the door, see who it is. It's just a nice another feature. Number three I have is exterior lighting. So I always recommend to try to have some exterior lights, especially at night. Motion floodlights are always good. Chelmsford, along with any other community in the United States, has various car breaks. Mostly it's for, people that might forget that they didn't lock their car. You're rushing home at night. You have to, get the kids somewhere, you're making dinner, whatever. And I've done it before too. You forget to lock your car, and, people go around at night, they see what cars are unlocked and open them and, take things out of it, unfortunately. It does happen, but with the exterior lighting, the motion lights, people are usually going to be scared off. When a light goes on, they might think somebody is, you know, um, somebody flicked on a light, that they're looking outside. So usually with the lighting, even in parking lots and stuff like that, a lot of businesses, car dealerships, bright lights, it kind of deters people from lurking around there, because they are going to be seen. Whereas, if somebody's in the dark, it's less likely for somebody driving by to see somebody in a yard or a driveway. Number four is something, we all get deliveries nowadays. I'm a big Amazon person. It's just very convenient. I'm sure other people are. So suspending or changing deliveries is always smart. If you're away on vacation or you're going to be away from your house a while, try to use, you can schedule deliveries on Amazon for different days. Maybe a day that you're going to be home all day, you can have all your packages come that day. Or nowadays too, Amazon has the security lockers. So I know there's, some at Whole Foods, there's some at various different locations around a city or a town. So you can always get a package delivered there too. Something, something we see a lot in the holiday time is, people busy online shopping, get packages delivered to their house. And then, of course, people are going to drive around and look for packages and take them. It happens. We try to deter it, and, obviously out on patrol, look for that. But it does happen. So, if you have some expensive items coming, if you can use a delivery locker or set your deliveries for a certain day. Number five, hide valuables. So if not being used, place your valuables in a secure location, such as a safe. There's so many sizes and varieties of different safes. If you have jewelry, money, anything like that, I just recommend putting it in a safe. If that event, if somebody does get into your house, or maybe you have somebody over, you have somebody come over and clean, or you're having people come over to do work at the house, it's just always a nice thing to, have that stuff put away. It's safe. You don't have to worry about it. You're not looking through like, is this missing? Like, did I put this somewhere else? It's just nice to have, all that expensive stuff in a safe, so you kind of know what's going on. Number six is something that, I didn't really think about, but it makes sense. Especially nowadays, there's so much social media. People, they might be excited to go on vacation. They're posting pictures of where they are, but people, who might be looking into, breaking into a house or something like that, they'll look for things like that. So if people are on Facebook, I know you can have different security settings. Maybe you only have certain friends on your Facebook page or Instagram or something like that. But it's something to be mindful of. So if you're posting pictures, oh, hey, we're in Florida, or we're overseas somewhere, or something like that, we're away for 2 weeks, I can't wait to get out of here, or something like that. You might be excited to, share that with your family and friends, but just remember as well, that's opening, your life up to other people as well. So, oh, they're going to be away for 2 weeks. Nobody's going to be checking their house. So it's just something to think about. Number seven, know your neighbors. If you have I always say build a community network and watch out for each other. So I know my neighborhood. I know most of my neighbors and stuff like that. Say hello. You kind of keep an eye out on things. Sometimes neighbors don't get along and stuff like that, but for the most part, you kind of keep an eye out on things. You might see something that doesn't look right. You could always call over to your neighbor. Hey, do you having anyone coming to work on the house during the day, or things like that. So it's just nice to know your neighbors. Keep an eye out on things. Maybe you notice something weird, but you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But maybe the other neighbor is like, yeah, I saw that truck. It keeps coming around every day around like, 10 in the morning. I'm not really sure what's up. Um, if you live in Chelmsford, you can always call us if you notice anything suspicious. And then I know there's people from, all over the country in here. You can always call your local police department. We want to be aware of suspicious things, especially nowadays, with different house breaks and stuff like that. It's good to be aware of things. And oftentimes house breaks will happen during the day. It's it's not the it's not so much like where you watch a movie and somebody breaks in at night. It definitely can happen. But the majority of times when we see a house break in Chelmsford or any of the surrounding communities around here, it's during the day. It's when people are away at work or when they're away on vacation. That's when it occurs. Number 8 here, I said, become a smart home. So if I like different smart gadgets and stuff like that. They're pretty cool. Everyone's different with that stuff. So I said research home automation systems like an Amazon Alexa to control your lights or your locks, and cameras that you can view even if you're away. So even if you don't have an Amazon Alexa or anything like that, if you don't like that, it's always, there's different devices you can buy. It doesn't have to be automated or hooked up to an app or anything, but just for lights inside, maybe you set some timers for your lights so it looks like people are home. If there's lights on during the day or at night. When these people drive around looking for houses to break into, they might see there's lights on, they're off, they're on. So, oh, maybe somebody's there. We don't want to break into that house. So just some things to help, you know, prevent any type of break or just some added security. The smart locks are nice. I go back and forth with them because I think there could be some, security flaws with the smart locks. I know a lot of people have them. It's a great tool. You can, come up with different codes. You can give a code to your, somebody coming over, like a one-time code to use. If you have someone, maybe a dog walker is coming over or someone's coming over to do some work on the house, you can give them the code. You can make a one-time code or whatever. So there's so many different aspects of the home security, the smart home, I say, with cameras, locks, and lights. So there's a ton of variety out there. So do what's comfortable for you. If you're going away and you think that the timed lights would be great, there's a bunch of different devices. There's devices that can the smart plugs that can hook up to like an Amazon Alexa type of thing. There's just regular old timer lights that you can set it, you twist the knob around and everything like that. So there's different types like that. So I recommend that. So I know I kind of breezed over that quick, but obviously, if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I know Virginia asked, is there a particular place in the home for a safe? So I say for the safe, I have one in a closet upstairs. So I think that's a good spot for you. Don't want it kind of out in the open, maybe somewhere where you have it in a closet or something where you can lock the closet. It's just an added, little added layer of security. So I have another, so what would you recommend for cameras with apartment living? So that's what I have. I live in a condo building, so I just have a front door. So what I have is I have a camera in the garage. and I have just a Ring doorbell as well. So you can, so those are the cameras that I have. So I know it's different with apartments. If you're in like an apartment building, see what you can do if you can have a camera on the outside. If you can't with the apartment, maybe have one. If you're comfortable with having the camera in the house, maybe just have it facing the door, maybe a little table or something, or if the counter is nearby, when you walk into the apartment, you can just have it, facing the door, just so, if somebody does get in, it's the camera's right there, you can see it. Let me, so I have a question in the question and answers. Can you turn something like Alexa on only when from home for personal, or only when away from home for personal privacy? Yeah, there's different settings in the Alexa where you can have it. So maybe you don't even have it on at all while you're home, but say if you're going away, you could turn it on to, arm or set up the lights. There's also a setting on the Alexa where it can listen for either like smoke or smoke alarms or any type of audible alarm or a glass break. And I've tested it. I have the Alexa at home on my counter, and I've, did a YouTube video of a fire alarm and played it for a bit, and then I'll get an alert on my phone. And I did a glass break one too, and it does work. I don't know how extreme well it does, but from what I did from just the audio on the YouTube, it worked well. Let's see. So Cheryl asked, if I have a Ring camera but not the subscription, can the police still get information from it? It depends on what you have storing the data. So I have a Ring doorbell camera, but I don't have a subscription. I actually have the module for it that plugs into the wall. I have a little USB, so all the video is stored on the USB. So you can still access that. I can go on my phone now and access all the videos on that. So you can, if you don't have the subscription, you can still access it, but you need somewhere where the video is getting stored. So if you don't have the subscription, there's these little flash drives. You can plug it into the top of the Ring module, and you can store the videos that way, but it needs to be stored somewhere. So Catherine said, banks are limiting safe deposit boxes, but I have heard of various instances where burglars simply walk with a home safe, even was in the closet. Can you secure? So it depends on what kind of safe you have. So if you have a large safe, you can bolt it into the floor, bolt it into the wall. But if you have something small, maybe it's a smaller safe that you just keep, passport or some jewelry in. If you have a gun or anything like that, that you keep secure in there. For a small safe, it's a little harder to secure it, but you could always try to, depending on the safe, look at the bottom, see if there's any holes in the safe. If you feel comfortable about bolting into the floor or anything like that. Again, if you, with the closet too, you could have the lock on the outside of the closet. So I would say with a bigger safe, definitely, it's harder to take away the bigger safe, but the smaller ones are easier. But you just gotta see if you can bolt it down or something like that if you're comfortable with, doing that to the floor. Luis, I have some of the best free security around my house. Yes, yeah, it's great having good neighbors, and they keep an eye out. Even if you're away, people can, check in with you. Hey, like, who's that at your house or something? Maybe it could be too much, but it's nice to have that, and you kind of can go away and not really worry about it too much. I have another question. Would you recommend carrying mace? We live in Boston. It's totally up to you. You don't need a license anymore for it. So if you would like to carry that, you definitely could. That's totally up to you. Julie, hot weather is coming, so we have to cool off the house overnight. Besides using a stick in the window frames, I'll have to slide it. Is there anything else we can do? Thank you. Stick in the window frame. You could have, if you have some type of, the home alarm, they have like the window sensors. So you could always put, some type of sensor on the screen, or any type of motion sensor. that could help. If you have it like set to the, when I'm home, I'll have the alarm set to the home setting. So if, any of the windows or doors open, there'll be like a small alarm that will go off, but the motion sensor doesn't pick up anything. All right, if you have a clock radio, you can set it to a talk station so the radio plays aloud at night. Yeah, that's a good idea. M. David to everyone. A clock radio, you can play it. So yeah, it sounds like people are at the house. Angela, worry about garage doors being accessible. That is definitely a possibility. If you go away on vacation or anything, I always recommend, on all the garage doors, you can actually manually lock it. So there's the metal part that comes out and it's secure, so nobody can push it open. But also, if you had a some type of alarm system at home, you could also throw a sensor onto the door. So if it does open up, you'll get a notification. Barbara said, aside from seeing it in the news, is there any other way to stay a little up to date with what the latest security suggestions might be based on what burglars are doing? I would say just look online to see if there's anything. That's kind of how I came up with the sheet that I have here, that I'm sharing with you. Um, Things change all the time, especially, if you think about, 5 or 6 years ago, Amazon was around, but it wasn't such a powerhouse as it is now, with, people getting deliveries all the time. Not even Amazon. I mean, everyone orders stuff online. So I would say that's like a newer thing that we see, especially around the holiday season with, people driving around taking packages. That's definitely been an increase for the past couple of years. Um, so I would just say, do look online. You can always like go Google and say like latest security suggestions or something. There's always going to be some articles, and take what you want from it. There's not, not everything you read is going to be, Bible for everything. Do your research, look around and see. Anne said, how important is it to have a security system that is monitored? It's totally up to you. So if you pay for the monitored security system, with I talked about Simply Safe earlier. So if you have the monitoring system, if the alarm goes off and say if I'm at work and I don't notice it on my phone or whatever, the alarm's going to go off. It's going to send a signal to the whatever monitoring company that's doing it. They'll call, sorry about that. They'll call your phone. If you have any other contacts listed, they'll call them. Whereas if you don't have it monitored, it's just gonna say if the alarm goes off. If you have some type of if you have some type of online app or anything, you're gonna see you'll see the alert on your phone. And then you can be like, okay, what's going on? Why is the alarm going off? So it's all your preference. If you want to pay for a monitored subscription, they range in from all different prices. I know, Ring has them, the Simply Safe has them. They're, it can be, $10-15 a month, and they can go up. So it all depends on what your preference is. But either way, with the newer security systems, you can get some type of a notification. It's just how far you want it to go. Let's see. So Thomas said, I saw somewhere where a kid put up a silhouette cutout on a train set and from Home Alone. That's a good one. And is displaying an alarm system sign helpful as a deterrent, or does it reveal too much to a burglar, which brand you have, and possibly give it? Oh, that's a good question. I guess it's on how you look at it. So somebody might see the sign and be like, oh, I want to stay away. I think when most people see a sign, they'll be like, oh, okay, I know they have an alarm system. Like, I'm not even going to try, breaking into the house. But other people might be like, oh, they have this specific alarm. So that's a good question. I don't know. I think there's both, pros and cons of it. So I guess, again, it's your preference. If you want to let people know that you have, a security system, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to keep it quiet, and if somebody wants to find out the hard way, I guess they can do that as well. That was a good question, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, a generic alarm sign. Yeah, just so they don't know what time, but or what specific type, but you know there's an alarm. If any other questions, please let me know. Luis, how common are break-ins to houses, and have you seen any trends in your 9 years as a police officer? So break-ins happen. It's not like every day we do it, but they do happen, or attempts. Um, the trends. So a lot of trends we're seeing lately is they're targeting specific people if they know people own restaurants or stuff like that, that they're not home all the time. This is a very sophisticated network of people doing these house breaks, and they just did a in Massachusetts, at least a few weeks ago, they did a big roundup. They've been working on a few cases for multiple years with different break-ins targeting restaurant owners and stuff like that. So they just, announced charges and arresting people. So I would say that was a trend with targeting the restaurant owners. So I would say that was a trend. Gail said, do most house breaks occur during the day at night? Definitely during the day. I know it's easier to see people during the day, but people aren't usually home during the day. Now that's different with a lot of people working remote now, so people are usually home during the day or night. Um, I think in my 9 years, I've only remember someone trying to break into a house at night, and people are obviously home. But you really don't see it happen that much. It's usually during the day. Again, people are at work. Maybe nobody's really home in the neighborhood during the day, so it's people aren't going to be, people aren't going to notice, people in the neighborhood. But again, that's different with people working from home. What are the top, Louise? What are the top items stolen? A lot of jewelry always. If a lot of people keep a lot of cash at their house, um, that's always going to be taken. So jewelry, cash, any expensive items. I don't really. Sometimes laptops and electronics, but nowadays, everything can be tracked. Especially iPhones. You have the AirPods; those can be tracked. So the stuff that can be tracked. You don't see as much getting taken, but jewelry and cash is always something that you're going to see. What is a safe and legal way to dispose of expired mace? Ooh, that's a good one, Angel. I honestly, I'll have to get back to you on that um, about getting rid of that. Julie, let's see, self-defense weapons for close quarters. Um, I mean, that's all your preference. A baseball bat, hammer. Um, Again, that's all preference. A hammer is smaller, so I don't know if that would uh, be as good a bat. That obviously a bigger surface area. Our looks. Barbara asked if lock filing cabinets are worth anything or go to a safe. Um, for locked filing cabinets, it depends on what's in there. If you're locking just some documents away that, you know, you might be worried about, like bank statements or something, I think that would be a good use for the locked filing cabinets. But if you have really valuable things, jewelry, money, if you don't want to, your passport or something like that, I would suggest to just put that in a safe. But it depends. If you have a lot of stuff that you want to keep safe, maybe, put some of the lower priority things in the filing cabinets, and then the more secure stuff into a safe. Okay, so we said I brought my mace to the police department. Yeah, I don't know how much we get dropped off at the police department. Are you seeing mailbox stuff? So that's a huge thing right now. Just locally in Massachusetts, people, the post office workers, out delivering mail, have been getting robbed for their keys. So we have been seeing that a lot. It hasn't happened in Chelmsford, but been seeing it a lot where they'll take the post office keys or try to make some type of counterfeit key, and they're going in stealing mail. So I would suggest, if you're going to mail something, if you have to mail a check or something like that, maybe just go to the post office physically, go inside and drop that letter off or whatever you're mailing, rather than throwing it in the the mailbox on the corner of the street. Yeah, postal worker. Yeah, exactly. In Medford. Yeah, and it just happened up in Nashua, New Hampshire a few weeks ago as well. They ended up finding out and arresting the people, but they, you know, yeah, exactly. They just want the keys to get in the mailboxes and then go through all the mail, see what's on there. Because most of the time when you're mailing something now, it's usually a check or something. A lot of stuff's done online, but if people are still, mail some checks. Um, all right, Anne asked for a person in Boston around the tea walking home as mace or pepper spray. Yeah, and you could always get mace or pepper spray. You don't need a permit for it anymore, so you could always, get that. Just have it in your bag or whatever. It's never a bad thing to have something just in case. The blue. So Rebecca asked regarding the postal theft. So you see more with the blue boxes versus the mailbox in your yard. Yeah, definitely we're seeing more of the blue big mailboxes. We'll see sometimes where people get their mail stolen from their mailbox in the yard, um, but not as much now. Just because if you think about what you get in the mail nowadays, it's usually a lot of ads, maybe some letters and stuff like that, but a lot of money and checks. It depends. Aren't in the mail. They usually, you can direct deposit or something like that. So I think people are going more after the blue USPS, like big mailboxes, just because they know people are, maybe paying a bill or something, putting a check in there. So that's probably like, if they go through that, they'll probably get something out of it. Let's see. Joanna, not even safe closet. Oh, so if the house is broken into, nothing was taken from the closets. Safe in the closet, but kept all the closets mega. So yeah, maybe they were just they went in the house and just kind of was looking for things out in the open and didn't even go in the closets. Gary, in Massachusetts, at least it is the Mason pepper spray. I don't. I know it was in with the. I want to say it was the last couple of years, but I will. I can double check on that for you. Um, let me look. Yeah, so people over 18 can have pepper spray, mace, or any other self-defense without a card or anything like that. But I don't know when it was. So I can look that up for you. Um, Angela said no FID. Um, let's see. Yeah, Angela, I'll just have to look that up because I know in Massachusetts, but I know people are from all over the states here. Kelly, what is the difference between mace and pepper spray? They're the same thing. They just call different names, different ingredients, but the same thing. Where is the best, Virginia asked, where is the best place to keep prescription medication? It depends if you're worried about it getting taken or anything like that. I would try to keep it somewhere secure. But if it's just regular medication, keep it in a cupboard or something like that, a overhead closet in the bathroom or something. Um, Obviously, if you have kids or anything like that, try to maybe keep it more secure somewhere, but just don't have it out in the open. Thomas said there are instances of people sifting through recyclables for financial account info. Oh, I definitely believe it. It's you just gotta if you're throwing away personal items like that, I always recommend shredding it. Buy a shredder that not too expensive. It just kind of peace of mind instead of just throwing it in the trash. Barbara, what are the top 5 to 10 places inside a house burglar first looks? Oh, let's see. So I mean, they'll look at the outside of the house. They'll see, if they'll look at the windows to see if they can get inside the windows. They'll look to see if it has maybe a big backyard that's maybe more secluded where they're not going to be seen maybe trying to get into the house. So they'll try to might look for places that are more secluded, maybe houses that are very Oh, once they're in looking for things to take. Anything that's out in the open, if they see, maybe they'll go up, if they see anything on the, the first level at the house that they think they can take and maybe make some money off of. Again, they'll probably move up to the bedrooms. That's where people usually keep a lot of financial documents, jewelry, money, stuff like that. So usually sweep the first floor, take a look, and then go right up to the bedrooms to see what they can take. Angela, any bulk free shredding events coming up? I would have to look it up. I know Chelmsford just had one, but again, there's people from all over the country in the Zoom, so I don't know. But I would just wherever you live, you can always Google like bulk free shredding events, and I'm sure something will come up. So you can always bring some documents there as well. But again, if you have a ton of documents that you needed shredded that have just been sitting in a some type of basket, and you're like, oh, I got to shred those and I haven't done it, so that would be a great thing to bring one to all those documents to one of those events. And then check with a part. Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. But I know Chelmsford has them every so often, and again, there's people from all over, so they would have to take a look as well and see. Twice a year. Okay, yep. Rebecca said there'll be a shred day. Staples are okay. Yeah, so great. No, that's what I like about doing this is the first time I've done a Zoom. I've done some presentations at like the library and various other places in town. So it's nice to, people can ask questions and talk, give suggestions. So it's good. Jody, if you're home and someone is breaking in, where's the best place to go? That's a good question, Jody. I would say if you depending on where they are, if there's another way out of the house, if you're up in your bedroom and you hear someone breaking in, I would try to stay in the room, instead of getting out. But if you're downstairs, maybe the house is like more of a ranch or something, and you hear someone coming in the front door, maybe you can get out the back door. But if you're stuck in a room, I would just try to secure it the best you can. Lock the door or put something up against the door. And hopefully if you have a phone with you, if you don't have a phone with you or something and it's during the day, or even at night, maybe open up a window, yell for help. I'm sure depending on where you live, you can, somebody might hear you, call 911, say somebody's yelling for help or something. But that's what I would recommend. Catherine, if friends in other states have questions, can they contact their local police department? What person would they ask for? So Catherine, if there's other people in here from different, um, different states, you could contact the police department, ask for if they have like a crime prevention office or something like that, and you can usually get to the right person. All the departments call it something different. I do the community engagement, but that also kind of covers the crime prevention. So that might not be my title, but you can kind of get where you're going. So kind of describe what you're looking for usually, and they can kind of point you in the right direction. Another question on here: are thieves sophisticated enough to know which homes have dogs? I guess if they did enough research on the house, they might know if there's a dog. But if they're just looking to break in somewhere that they think people are away, they might not know there's a dog. So I guess that would just depend on their situation. Are tasers good for self-protection at home? Um, so it depends on where you live, that they're allowed in Kelly State. My only experience with taser is, the one I have at work. We're highly trained on it. It's not just a small pocket taser that you have to make contact with somebody with. Um, So, the tasers we carry actually, when you deploy them, there'll be prongs that shoot out and go into somebody. A handheld taser, I honestly don't have any experience with, so I don't know how effective they are. We, you know, in my experience with the taser, when you're doing a direct contact with somebody, it's not as effective as when the prongs are deployed and stick into somebody. But that's just from my perspective. So that's, that you would have to do some more research on that. Uh, so there's, sorry, my radio is going off. So what kind of self-protection do you recommend to defend yourself during home break-ins? I mean, that could be various things. It's all personal preference. Some people have a license to carry in Massachusetts and have a, firearm if that's what they feel, you know, will protect them. Like somebody earlier said, the bat. So it all depends on your preference and what you would feel comfortable with and feel comfortable using if it came down to that. But again, we don't see a ton of break-ins at night or when people are home. The people breaking into the houses want them to be empty, and if they think someone's home, they're probably going to take off. It does happen where somebody might break in and there's like some type of home invasion, but again, it's very rare that happens. It does happen, but it's not like an everyday thing. With the house breaks, again, they're looking for they're looking for houses to be empty. They're looking for the daytime, and they're looking for easy access into the house through like unlocked door, unlocked window, anything like that. Yes, Thomas, food can lower their effectiveness. Yeah. Well, Angela, if you're worried to, ask any questions or anything, my email is right on the sheet here. It's A Gillis, so it's Agillis at Chelmsford. It's CHELMSFORDMA.gov. My phone number is there with my extension to my desk here. So if you have any questions later that you think of or anything like that, you can always reach out to me, email, call, anything like that. But again, if depending on where everyone lives, you can always ask the police department some type of crime prevention. A lot of times they do have something, but they most of the time they do. Oh, thanks, Julia. Julie, sorry. Is somebody coming up at dusk or just something I have to be concerned with? I've had young people show up twice that time. Nothing happened, just maybe a little concerned. Rebecca, I don't know, was it somebody coming up like like a solicitor or something? A solicitor, yeah. So we have we have in Chelmsford we have bylaws where it says people can only solicit from certain times. So if it's after the time, people will call, and it's fine. Like the solicitors will still go out and do it. They'll probably be out there until somebody calls, and we'll get those calls. Especially, I usually work the day shift, but I'm working evenings tonight. So sometimes we'll get calls. It might be 8, 9 o'clock, and they're like, yeah, there's somebody out in the neighborhood, like asking about solar or something. So, in Chelmsford, I'm sure it's like this in other communities that, if you're soliciting, you need to register with the police department. They do a, background check, make sure things are legit. You're working for a legit place. So, we'll go speak to the solicitor, but hey, you can't solicit after this certain, certain time. Oh, thanks, Jody. I appreciate it. Unexpected utilities worker ID should be looked at. Yes, sir. Yeah, Thomas, unfortunately, the utility workers, somebody could dress up as one. Sometimes you see it where they're trying to like case a house or look into a house. So they might show up and be like, hey, I'm from, we have National Grid here, from National Grid, but they might not be, they might not have an ID, or they might just have like a yellow vest on with no ID. Don't feel obligated to answer the door or anything. You can always be like, I don't, I wasn't expecting anyone. Do you have any ID? usually when you start questioning people, if they're not legit, they're gonna leave. They're gonna get spooked out and leave. So um, so just if you're uncomfortable, ask them for an ID. If you don't even want to talk to them, just yeah, I'll talk to you later. Close the door, and you can always call the police department. So, oh, thanks, Ann. Gary, recently had a black SUV park outside on the street with engine running. It was suspected as law enforcement or a private detective. Gary, that's a should we have called police? Yeah, if you want to, you can always if you see something weird, you can always call. A lot of times we'll get calls and check it out, and sometimes it amounts to nothing, but sometimes it's somebody's like, you're like, oh, you parked here, and it might be a very residential neighborhood, and they're like, oh yeah, like, it's not against the law, but obviously it's, it's suspicious. A lot of times too, but we'll see, people park in different areas and they might be Ubering or something like that. So we see that a lot more now. That would probably be something that has changed over the past 9 years is the ride share and stuff like that, where somebody might call in a suspicious car or something like that. And it ends up being, Uber, Lyft or something like that. I've seen a car slow down in video or home. Yeah, I'm not sure, Angela, what that might be. But obviously if you think it's suspicious or that that something's not settling right, you can always call the police department and let them know. They can check the area, see what's going on. So yeah, if anyone has any more questions, I'll stick around for a few. But if not, I appreciate everyone signing on. I didn't know how many people is going to be in the meeting, and it says 85 right now, so it was great. So hopefully I did okay. It's the first time I've done the Zoom speaking and everything like that. So definitely would like to do it again, and hopefully you got some good info from it. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to email or call me. Even if you're out of state, I don't mind. If you're looking for the point you in the right direction of something or just a general question, I don't mind at all. So I'll be around. So thank you. Karen just asked, how do you find out the names of police in your town, and can you get a photo of the police personnel? Karen, I guess that would depend on where you reside. At Chelmsford, you can go on, it's at chelmsfordpd.com. It has all the employees listed there and their emails, and there's pictures on our website as well. But I guess that just depends on where you live as well. Does Chelmsford have Coffee with a Cop? We do, Angela. So we do. We just did one a couple months ago, but we'll post it on our social media. So if you're in state, out of state, it's Chelmsford PD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X. So you can always check our social media. We usually post it about like a month or a month and a half out of when we're going to do the Coffee with the Cop. So just keep an eye out for that. Thomas, quick thing I just realized, do you consider photos of suspicious behavior constructed at all? Yeah, I mean, if you think something, whatever the situation is, if you can get a photo or a video, it kind of you might describe something to us and we can't picture it, but if you have a photo or a video, if it's safe to do so, yeah, definitely, I think it's helpful. You can look at it and you might be able to debunk whatever the suspicious behavior was or whatever. So I think that's another thing that's changed over the years is the access and ability for all the photos and videos. We have so much of it now, rather than 9-10 years ago we didn't, we did have it, but it wasn't as much. Angela, yes, I do attend the Coffee with the Cops. We do it at different coffee shops in Chelmsford. So but yep, I attend along with a bunch of other people at the department as well. Are you seeing any issues with AI alterations of video or pictures? Catherine asked. Personally, I have not seen that yet. I'm sure that will be something in the future, just with all the technology and stuff like that. But in Chelmsford, I haven't seen that yet. It could be, sure, maybe other departments have, but I haven't personally seen that yet. Oh, I should have. I'll put my email in the chat here. I didn't even think of that. That's my email, and then that's my phone number at the police department, and then our website is chelmsfordpd.com, and that has everything, all the news, all our social media links and all that kind of stuff. So it's a, you can head there if you need to look up anything. We have some other Karen, yes, I believe I'm the only one who can see the Q&A. Somebody asked, is a locked car in the driveway? Someone may be home, deter thieves. It depends. Sometimes if there's the same car in the driveway that's been there for 2 weeks, somebody might think that they're not home. So it just depends. But and I would say always lock your car, but I would say if it's that car is there for an extended period of time, it might show that, someone's away. So just keep an eye out for that. Catherine asked if private detectives generally have any contact with police. Yes, again, they do have to register with at least in Chelmsford, they'll register with us that they're going to be, doing, detective work or whatever, PI work. They'll usually let us know so we have an idea about what's going on. Teresa, yeah, when I work for the census. Yep, exactly. It's just almost easier to, if you're doing something like that, if you're doing PI work or census work or anything like that, contact the local police department depending on, what jurisdiction you're in. But it's just easier almost for them to, be aware of something. So, say if, hey, sometimes I'll work dispatch and someone will call and say, oh, there's a suspicious car in my neighborhood. And, maybe it's the car that the census worker is using, and oh, that's a census worker. Oh, okay, awesome. So it kind of just ends the situation right there.
All right, is that all set?
Yes, I
All right.
think everyone's good. Yeah, awesome. And I thank
So
you.
the attend
I didn't
I
know.
saw the attendees starting to go down, so I was assuming.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't know how many people are going to be on, so it's great. I'm glad I
Perfect.
got to do it. So
Great. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
awesome.
And I will close the Zoom.
Awesome. Have
All
a
right.
good
Have
night.
a great night.
Bye-bye.